Hi everyone. In this section we'll look at what sociology is. First of all, let's look at the word itself. What is sociology? If you look closely, you see the word socio, which is the root word for society, and then ology, which is the study of. So sociology is the study of society. And I like to add the word scientific to emphasize the fact that sociology is a science. You will learn soon that sociology does entail the application of the scientific method in order to study our social world. And the scientific method, you may be familiar with learning about it, from chemistry, physics, biology, and so forth. So in sociology, we also use the same method in order to study the world, our social world. So I recommend that you pause this video for a little bit and then watch this video, which is a very good video to give you an overview of what sociology is as an academic discipline. So go ahead and pause and then we'll continue. So by now, I hope that you've watched this short video and get a sense of, an overall sense of what sociology is. And by the end of this video, you should understand that sociology approach human beings as social animals. What that means is they relate to each other, they share their lives with each other, and as a result, they influence each other, either negatively or positively, but they do influence each other. And a part of that influence, results in learning from each other. Again, it could be positive or negative. So what it means is that as human beings, what we do, what we say, what we like, what we're attracted to, it is not instinctive. It is learned. And how we learn what we like, what music we should prefer, or what is beautiful, and so forth. All those things that we learn, it all depends on our social location in society. So that's like your place in society, your GPS location in society. So social location is your membership, right? That is a particular group that is based on certain social elements, such as, and again, this is not an exclusive list, but these elements can be based on, for example, class, race, gender, sexuality, religion, and citizenship status. So some of these social elements, if not all of them, are socially constructed. So what that means is humans create them, right? And this includes, class, race, actually all of, in some ways, some people will say, nearly all of them. But even though they're socially constructed, right, created by society, they still have significant impacts on people's lives. So for example, whether or not you believe that race exists, so race is still a construct that still impact your lives. Maybe you yourself don't see yourself as having a race, but other people, our society, our government, may still impose a certain racial category onto you. So our social locations, as is determined by several social elements that I just mentioned, I don't want you to think that they're all segregated, distinctive categories that operate in isolation, but in fact, all of them intersect with each other. So, for example, if you are poor and gay and are elderly men, your experience in life, your attitude toward life, who you meet, your values, and so on, are very different from someone who is wealthy and straight, but also elderly men. Right? So again, all these elements that make up our social location intersect and have huge impacts on how we behave, what kind of experience we have in this social world, and how people interact with us. So to break up the definition of society, I want you guys to really, really understand what it means. And I think conceptually you may think you know what it is, but sociologists, we would like to be a little bit more specific than just knowing society as, you know, everything that's in our social world. So for sociologists, society is made up of, first of all, the individuals, or one way to see is me, right? You, right? We are individuals. And this is the smallest group of membership that each of us have, you know, in our society, according to sociologists. The next level of group membership in which all of us have is small groups. So what this may include, for example, the people who took care of us ever since we were young, our family members, our guardians, our friends, our neighbors, people who share similar music tastes with us, for example, or those who go rock climbing us, so who enjoy similar hobbies with us. So these are small groups. So the next level of membership, which is bigger than small groups, is institutions. Institution is consisted of a group of people who have come together for a common purpose. So, for example, to raise children. So this is the case for the institution of the family, or to educate children. So this would be for the institution of the school, or to worship. So this would be the institution of religion. To regulate and to protect, that would be the institution of the government. To produce and exchange goods or services, that would be the institution of work. And so on. We have so many institutions in our societies. So these institutions are part of the social order of society, and they govern the behavior and expectations of individuals. And so as a result, with institutions, we can observe stable patterns of group behavior that persist over a long period of time. So look at your own family, for example. Your family has its own subculture, certain expectations of all the members of the family. And when you go and visit your friend's family, they act differently, right? Or when you go into a school setting, which is another institution, you yourself act differently, and the people around you also act differently versus when you meet them outside the context of the school. So let's say your best friend, you see that you go and visit him at his home. He is most likely different from how he is when you see him in school. And the largest group membership that we all belong to is society, which is made up of all these sub-levels of group membership, from individuals to small groups to institutions. And all these levels, across all these levels, we are connected to each other through social forces. So social forces are human-created forces that influence, the pressure, or force individuals to behave, to think, and to interact with each other certain ways. So some of these social forces might include, for example, technology, or religion, or laws. Next, I would like to discuss three more elements and then how they make up another larger element that are quite important for how sociologists see society. So first is the idea of the social structure. Basically, this is the idea of how our society is framed, how institutions, how individuals, how small groups are arranged. And so the ways that our society is arranged give us directions and sets limits on our behavior. So, for example, If you think about the U.S., right? In the U.S., we value, and I mean general we, I do not mean you personally. So in American society, capitalism is embraced, right? And so families are structured a certain way, and also your time, right? Look at your day, right? It's structured a certain way in your own family, so that way your family can contribute to the capitalist ideal of America. So what that means is, for example, most of your time, if you're 18 and over in particular, you're working, right? Or preparing to go to work, right? And if you're younger than 18, very high chance that you are in school and you're preparing for work life. Okay? So as you can see, the way in which our life is arranged, right, is around work or contributing toward, the capitalist system within our society. Now, look at the government as well. The government support, capitalism, right? So let's say you and your family want to start a business. You can get loans, from Small Business Association, and you can get tax deduction from the government for trying to start a business. So my point here is that in the U.S., because of capitalism, everything in which the different parts, institution and small groups and your personal life, the way things are arranged, supports this values, right, or this idea of capitalism, right? And what is values? We're going to discuss that next. But first, let's stick to social structure for now. So let's look at China, right, or communist countries, right? China, formerly Soviet Union, supposedly Vietnam. I say supposedly because Vietnam, similar to China, it's not really they're not truly communist countries anymore, but on paper they are, right? So supposedly communism is going a nearly almost opposite direction of capitalism, and they instead of encouraging people to pursue their freedom, individual will to pursue their economic desire, right? In communism, an important aspect of it is that the government play a central role in ensuring that nearly everyone will have nearly almost the same amount of resources and services. So no one has more or less. And again, this is just ideal, but this ideal is very different from capitalism, under which, if you work hard, you are rewarded for more money, right? More money to buy stuff, right? Being able to afford bigger homes, right? More cars, nicer cars, and so on, right? So again, that's not the case under communism. And again, we're talking about this as being ideal, right? So as you can see again, communist countries and the U.S., they all have similar institutions. People in capitalist and communist countries they have families. They also have the government. They have the economies. They have laws and so on. But the ways in which all these different parts of society are arranged are very different, right? One supports capitalism, the other one support communism. So the way in which all these social elements of society are arranged is called social structure. So related to that is the idea of values. Values is the standards by which we judge something as beautiful, ugly, good, bad, desirable, or undesirable. So, in American society, as we talked already about it we value capitalism, and along with that, it includes consumerism, right? So we value the fact that, hey, if you work hard, you earn money, you are allowed to buy, a phone that costs $1,000. Hey, if you deserve it, you work for it. So, kudos to you, right? You deserve it, right? And so that is our values, right? Is that we ourselves individually, if we want to work hard, and we do work hard, and we earn the money for it, great. That is seen as good, right? Because we worked for it. So that is values. So norms are based on values, and norms are basically how we see values manifested as the behavior, right? So in America, we values hard work. So if I'm your boss, then if I ask you to cover a shift, so that means that you would work overtime on Christmas, and when you would rather, right, personally, you would rather spend time with your family, but because your boss asks you, my expectation is that, as your boss, is that you would say, yes, you will work overtime on Christmas. Again, that's just my expectation based on the norms of Americans, as Americans who embrace hard work ethic, right? By the way, not all societies share same values and therefore share similar norms. For example, when I was living in Germany, I was in areas in which there's still cities, but not as big as Berlin or Frankfurt. So I was really surprised that many restaurants did not open on Sundays, and a part of it is because people over there, they took their Sunday, their day off very seriously. They do not work. Whereas in the U.S., as you may know, if you want pizza at 3 a.m., sure, that can be done. It can be delivered to you, right? And this is the reason why we can expect that is because, again, in America, we embrace capitalism. We embrace hard work. And if a business is willing to work at 3 a.m., you'll pay for it. You're willing to pay for it, right? For that pizza to be delivered to you. It's probably a little more expensive than if you were to order it during the day, but still, it is still available. Whereas in Germany, which doesn't embrace capitalism wholeheartedly, they want to have a slightly more balanced life. They want to have Sunday off, and so even restaurant owners, they know that they can potentially have a lot of customers. Many of them, do not open on Sundays. That's their day off to relax. Okay, so let's bring it all together. Okay, let's bring the social structure, the values, and the norms. If you add these three together, it's known as social facts. And social facts is a term coined by Emily Durkheim, the first professor in sociology, who I would discuss soon, who is give you a little bit more details about him. So he argues that social facts are these external forces that transcend beyond the individual, and yet they can, exercise, quite significant social control over us, over how we behave as individual, and then, as a result, because we're connected to other individuals, on a group level as well. And so then sociologists can see certain patterns of behavior on the group level. So, a way to see how values, norms, and social structure fit in this picture is that they manifest, right? They're kind of floating around across all layers of group membership in our society. So you see values, at the individual level as well as the small groups level, institution, and of course the largest level is society. And you can say the same thing for norms and social structure as well. And that image is a good visual depiction of sociological imagination, a term coined by a famous sociologist named C. Wright Mills. He defined it as an awareness of the relationship between a person's behavior and experience and how they're shaped by history and social structure. So, for example, I'm just looking at myself right now. I'm thinking about, when I was young, technology was not a very important social force in my life. At least technology, personal technology, like, the phone, right, or even the computer or laptop. It wasn't as important in my life, but of course now, those personal tech gadgets are extremely important for me to navigate through this life. So as you can see, how I act, how I behave are being shaped and changed through structure, forces that also change that in our society, such as technology. Another example is standards of beauty. It changes over time, even within my own lifetime. So when I was your age in college, being skinny, super skinny, after it was seen as the ideal standard of beauty. So this was it was so pervasive that many young college women, as well as men, but particularly young college women, would starve themselves. They were so emaciated because they wanted to look beautiful, and in this case, it's to look super skinny. And up to a point, it's almost ghost-like, right? And a lot of people were anorexic or had bulimia, right? What that means is they would eat a lot and then force themselves to throw up. Now, the standard of beauty nowadays, is shifting. Skinny is, at least in the U.S., being super skinny is not necessarily the most beautiful thing anymore, at least on a general macro level, right, in American society. I think it's more about thick, right? THICC, as I've learned from my students. Right? So, again, as you can see, our society is shifting, changing, whether it's technology, standard beauty, and so how we individually act, behave, experience are also changing, right, throughout history, and all of this is shaped, right, by social structure, by forces that are beyond ourselves. So here is a very good video to give you an overview of sociological imagination, and it applies to one specific social issue that is very interesting. So I would encourage you to stop the video right now in order to go to that YouTube link and watch this video. So go ahead and stop this lecture video so you can go to that YouTube video. Okay, so by now you should have watched that YouTube video to understand a little bit more about what sociological imagination is and how sociologists see the world. So in summary, for this section on what is sociology, we started out by defining sociology as a systematic study of society, and these sociological studies investigate social forces that are beyond the individual, right? Beyond me. So this is not innate in me, right? This is transcend all of us, right? Social forces. So sociologists study these external social forces to understand how they influenced how each one of us behave, experienced, whether it's at individual level or group levels. So this concludes our section on what is sociology.